I guess I've always been interested in stories and telling stories, whether it was sort of comic books, movies, books, and games was kind of the new kid on the block. It was the interesting new space to explore. It had elements of writing, it has elements of art and film and text, and people get to explore in that space. So to me, it was just like the coolest, most interesting form of storytelling that I could get into.
I sort of stumbled into games, and when I got into it, I realized that it was a really new and very compelling medium, because you have all these different situations that have to come into balance. So you have all this programming work in order to actually make everything function, and then you have all of this visual art, like models and characters and animation, in order to just put something on screen. Many Monkeys is a game studio that operates in two areas. We make games, but we also make interactive art installations. So we do classical games for an iPad or an Android device, and then at the same time we make these kind of like floor projections for the National Gallery.
The best thing about being a game developer is being able to pull things out of your imagination and make them accessible to other people, so people can get in there, look around it, play with it, and explore it in ways that you might not have thought.
Games are global. Games are a market where most of the time you never get to meet your audience, but you kind of can try to understand them, and you can try to see the trends and the way that people think about sort of stuff. So you do see these kind of global changes that occur over time. And
sweeping changes can be driven by hardware as well. So if there's a new device or a new console that lets you do these things which like a year ago you think, oh, I could never get that in my game.
All games had a controller or a keyboard and mouse, but then the iPhone turns up and it's like, oh wait, you can touch stuff. That's a great idea.
To give you an idea of how games are made, you have a design phase, you talk it through, the programmers put together a prototype and see how it works in practice. We check out how that actually feels to play, give feedback, and then we do it again until it just comes up to being just how we want it to feel.
Like, for example, in Leaves, there's this bear character. How do I feel empathy and care towards it? Because I need to take it on a journey, I need to know things about it. Often answering those questions, if we're lucky, it takes a day. If we're unlucky, it takes years. And it's basically that forever until you release the game.
I think for anything that you want to be story-driven, you want to start with something that is special and meaningful to you. So I kind of want to share those experiences that I had as a kid with the wonder of something like The Dark Crystal and Labyrinth and Princess Bride.
Games are generally made by a team. You may have started at a point, but you will end up at a location that that individually you'd never find, because you work collaboratively within the team, and every person brings their strength to the project.
In Melbourne, there are much more opportunities to sort of work as a group and meet up, and there are more projects sort of available because people know there's a bigger games industry here.
People that have been around for quite a while and had worked for larger studios gradually started migrating here because we had the ability to create the kind of work that we wanted to. Film Victoria had a huge part of that, funding a bunch of really interesting titles.
Yeah, it's a city that prides itself on creativity and making interesting things. There's a lot of transferable skills here. It's a good place to make games.
Put it on a bumper sticker, that's awesome.